This episode of Taste of the Valley has been brought to you by Fresno Distributing. Taste of the Valley would not be possible without the generous sponsorship of many community organizations and business entities here in Fresno. And we were joined today by Stephen Cloud, who is the owner of Fresno Distributing. Steve, tell us a little bit more about Fresno Distributing.
Well, you know, we've been here since 1946. Right here on McKinley between Highway 41 and City College. And, well, you know, it's been 65 years. And we like to believe that we're the leaders in the appliances here in Fresno. And I think we cooked all the food right here, this delicious food that I'm going to even get some, right?
Of course.
And everything. But, you know, we're having our big parking lot sale the last week in July, Tuesday, July 26th to Saturday, July 30th. So we hope everyone comes in. They're going to save a lot of money on all appliances from Sub-Zero and Wolf and Thermador and Viking and Miele, all the top brands. But you know what, folks? It doesn't have to be the finest brands. We have regular dishwashers for just $250 rather than $2,000. So we have them all for everybody here. And we're really proud to have your show here. This is our second go around, and we hope you honor us next year. This is just fabulous, this show.
Thanks so much, Steve, for your sponsorship of Taste of the Valley. Thanks. Hi, I'm Andreas Borges, and welcome to Taste of the Valley. On this episode, we're at St. George Greek Orthodox Church and celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Greek Food Festival. We have all sorts of food, music, and fun ahead. Come join us. Hi, we're here with Peter Vallis, Executive Director of the Greek Food Festival. Peter, thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure.
Thanks
Tell us a little bit more about the festival.
Well, right now, if everything goes well, this will be the largest Greek festival between LA and San Francisco this year.
Wonderful.
In our 50th year. So this is a great celebration, and we've got a ton of people around.
That's fantastic. Now, no doubt we're here over at the TOV at the food festival, and you were going to tell me a little bit more about the quintessential Greek drink, ouzo.
Exactly. Ouzo is distilled spirit, goes back about 700 years as far as I understand, and it's like any other vodka, but the flavoring is what sets it apart from other drinks.
Now, what is the flavoring?
It's like black licorice. It's the anise seed, which is, they use it a lot in Greek cooking, Italian cooking. You know, people are more familiar with Sambuca. This is a less sweet version of Sambuca.
I see. Now, it's pretty common throughout the Middle East as well, right?
All sorts of Mediterranean cultures, more or less, have a anise-based liqueur. Ouzo happens to be the famous one from Greece.
And I think this is probably, in my estimation, this is one of the best tasting ouzos I've ever had. So maybe let's try some.
Okay, you got it.
Now look at that. Now why did it change color?
That's part of the anise flavoring. Any anise-based liqueur gets cloudy when put in water or in ice. And it's just part of the chemistry of the crystallized sugars and other sorts of stuff.
Oh, so now we would say it in Greek, siniasas.
ECN?
Siniasas. ECN. That is very strong, very good though.
Exactly, and it's great for your breath.
Now, there's usually food accompaniment to ouzo. Well, tell us a little bit more about that. The mezzathakya.
Well, you know, ouzo, like any other spirit in Greece, where food and wine and drink go together, you sip it. You don't shoot it, you sip it. And so you have to have things you can nibble on, little meze, that work. So you have a little feta cheese, some olives, you know, little pieces of food.
Some octopus.
Octopus, squid, spinach.
All the good stuff.
All the good stuff. Bitter greens. All those things that you can't always find at the supermarket go great as you're sitting around cooking and eating for your usual Greek 8-hour spread.
Yes.
Usually for birthdays, celebrations, or Friday night.
So now we're going to go over to the wine tasting booth, and we're going to talk about some of the wines over there.
Sounds
great. So I'm looking forward, but before we do that, we got to have a little bit more of this.
Absolutely.
Bravo, farsume. Stay tuned, there's more Greek festival to come. So we're over at the Wine Tasting Center, and we're drinking something extra special, and this is called Retsina.
Right.
And you already sound intoxicated, Peter.
I think it's a lack of sleep more than anything else.
So now Retsina is made from what?
It's a white grape that's native to Greece, so it's a basic dry white wine, kind of mildly low in alcohol, surprisingly. But once they're done making the wine, they flavor it with the resinous pitch of the pine tree.
So it's made with pine resin?
Pine resin, hence the word Retsina, from resin.
Interesting. So you could clean your carburetor with this.
Mr. Clean would be proud. But it goes great with Greek food.
Oh, well, we're definitely going to try that later.
It's amazing, but it does.
Well, I have to ask, you are wearing a very unusual outfit, and it is called an Evzon outfit.
Correct.
And tell us a little bit more about that. And Constantine is also wearing one as well.
Kind of a little more elaborate variation on a theme. But essentially what the costume derived from were ancient Greek, ancient Roman outfits. You know, they had the little kilt thing and, you know, the chest plates. And, well, after, you know, guns, you didn't need the chest plates anymore. But while the Ottomans were occupying the Balkans, there were bands of vagrants and kind of Robin Hood type heroes that would come down from the mountains and fight and steal things and be folk heroes to the villagers. And they would wear outfits.
Cliftes.
Yeah. So they have all these pleats, and legend has it that they have one pleat for every year the Turks occupied Greece.
Now that was, how many, was that 350 or 400 years?
Maybe more like 400 years.
400 years.
And some people say they're still there, but I won't get into that.
So would you say this is like a Scottish kilt, the counterpart, the Greek counterpart?
Interestingly enough, the Scottish kilt was a variation on the fustanella. There were a number of exiled Greeks in about 900 that went to the British Isles, and the kilt came with them.
So now Constantine has, now these are medallions for ornamentation, and of course the requisite Greek chest hair, a little manga-esque action going on here.
Yeah.
Now tell us about your shoes.
Now, the shoes were just, they were more standard on what you would wear with the natural. Overall, this is a warrior's outfit. This is a Greek warrior's outfit, and when they march into battle, it was just a symbol to say, this is where we stand, it's just to show our independence. It's not like, if you look at most shoes, it's not what most warriors wear. So.
Well, it makes for some fantastic visuals, because we saw Kofi Soteropoulos dancing earlier, and when you get going, it starts twirling around. That fustanella is quite amazing.
And it'll let you breathe. Let me tell
Exactly.
you.
Well, thank you so much, Peter.
Absolutely, Andre.
For hosting us over at the Wine Tasting Center. And Constantine, it was a pleasure. We'll be seeing you on the dance floor later.
Absolutely.
All right, take care. Hi, we're here with John Stratigos, and we're making loukoumades at the Greek Food Festival. John, thanks so much. Tell us about loukoumades.
Well, loukoumades are what we call our Greek donut holes. They're a delicacy dessert, battered dough, honey, nuts, cinnamon on top. Beautiful.
Excellent. Let's see how you make them.
All right, here we go.
So John, how long does it take to cook the lucumadas?
Just a couple minutes, 2-3 minutes, 4 minutes, depending on how many we put in there, and then how hot the oil is.
So he puts the grate down to make sure that they cook evenly?
Right. We roll them to make sure we try to get a little roundness to them and everything goes, and then we submerge them in the oil so they get a even cook.
Now, do you know where lucumadas are from? Are they unique to Greece?
As far as I know, yes.
As far as we're concerned, yes.
As far as it is today, they are Greek.
All right. So once he gets done with the frying process, he's going to take them out and he's going to dry them.
Yeah, we'll put them in a tray over there. We'll send them over, and the ladies over there will put honey on top of them. Then they'll go into individual bowls, and then we'll put the cinnamon and nuts on top of that.
There we go. Now look at it. They're golden brown.
Golden brown.
You can't go wrong.
Nope.
Minus the grease fire.
There we go. There we go. The finished product right there.
Finished product. All right. So grab one of these.
Oh yeah. Yummy.
Oh, they're sticky,
sticky,
they're gooey,
yummy,
and they're bite-sized, so it makes it perfect.
Therefore, low calorie.
Absolutely. This is a fat-free donut, right?
Fat-free until you get out the gate there, and then it explodes.
There we go.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, perfect. Those are fantastic.
Yeah,
Thanks so much, Tom.
You're welcome.
We appreciate it.
Opa.
Stay tuned for some Mediterranean cooking tips from Chef Vache at Yalla Yalla. Welcome back to Taste of the Valley. We're here with Vache Mukhtarian.
That's good, man. How you doing?
Vache, thanks so much for coming on the show. And Vache is the owner and proprietor of a new restaurant, relatively new restaurant.
About 5 months old now.
Yalla Yalla.
Yalla Yalla.
Which is a Mediterranean restaurant over off of Friant in Fort Washington.
In the Riverview Shopping Center. We've been there 5 months, and it's been going really good. Really support from the neighbors. The community around it, so it's been really fun.
Great.
So, yeah.
Love to have you on the show. Now, what are we going to be cooking today?
I'm glad to be here. We're doing a salmon dish that we kind of worked on a recipe at the Cracked Pepper, but it really influences the Mediterranean. So we have a really nice piece of salmon here that we're going to be searing up, and we have some olives that are going to go into it, some caper berries, some onions, some Roma tomatoes, a little fresh lemon juice, and some white wine.
I can already tell the ingredients are great. So I imagine we got to get cooking. So should I start chopping now?
Yeah, chop me some onions.
All
I got
right.
a little bit here going, so I need a.
So we have onions, and we have tomatoes, as you mentioned, Kalamata olives,
Kalamata and the greens.
And the caper berries too.
Caper berries are really interesting. Most people, when I say caper berries, they assume like the little berry that you normally see. These are like a big plum, like the big brother. So if you cut them down the middle, it's a really neat. I'm gonna have you do these.
Oh, there we go.
And they're really briny. So they really add freshness to the dish. They bring it up. So it's really nice. So especially in the Mediterranean, a lot more white wine. Drinking white wine. So this dish is a perfect white wine combination. So
now capers are part of the mustard family, and you find a lot of it in the Mediterranean cooking. So tell me, how did someone like you come to this country and decide to open up a Mediterranean restaurant?
I was born in Lebanon. Just we kept moving, and Fresno was home. So we've been in Fresno for almost 27, 30 years. So the first restaurant we opened was Cracked Pepper, and then being from, everybody knew where I was from, they kept saying, you need more Mediterranean dishes, more Mediterranean dishes. I said, well, let's do this, So I started, me and my wife talked about it. We opened Yalla Yalla, and we have more Mediterranean style dishes. And that includes from Middle Eastern, shish kebab, hummus, your basics, and then to a dish like this that might be more, maybe a little French or, Southern Italy, something like that. So it's, we have a really nice area of food to cover.
But it's not just traditional food. It's kind of like your mom's cooking, but kicking it up a notch.
Yeah, I went to culinary school. Wanted to be a chef. I'm a chef. I enjoy cooking, so it's something that I wanted to do. I wanted to bring this up a little bit more. All our meat especially on our beef or lamb, we cook it to mid-rare to medium. So somebody that's enjoying a glass of red wine can actually have a temperature. So if they choose still to have it well done, we'll be more than happy to accommodate. But
yes,
we're here to.
Well, the inside joke, folks, is my family's Greek and Armenian, and all the meat has to be completely overcooked. If it's not super well done, it's not appropriate to eat. Which is why you're kicking it up a notch because you're not overcooking all the lamb.
Exactly. My mom comes over and she's every time she says, "Vachi, this isn't right," then I know I did it right. Because everything has to be like, well done.
Well, let's get cooking, Vachi.
All right.
So what do we do first? We got some vegetables.
Vegetables
cut
going.
here.
So we want to get our pan hot here. The trick is, anytime you're doing fish or any protein that you're going to cook, you want to get your pan extremely hot. So the way you can tell that, you want to put your hand on it. If you don't feel it hot, you got to wait it out a little bit, okay? And then let's get our salmon ready. And what you want to do with the salmon is, I got a little towel in there just to keep it dry. Because what happens a lot of times, people put wet fish into a pan, it starts just spewing everywhere. You end up frying your hand more than the fish.
Very true.
So the drier the fish, the drier the product, you're going to get a better sear, and it's going to look beautiful. So this pan's getting a little hotter.
Put a little olive oil.
A little bit of olive oil. And we use olive oil to sear all our stuff at the restaurant, just because it adds a little bit more flavor. Sometimes, salads will use a lighter oil, but for this, we do this.
So, Vachi, we have a very hot skillet here.
Very hot pan. You want your oil kind of dancing in there, and it's just moving. So then, you want to finish with some nice kosher salt and some black pepper. I almost would say white pepper, but I love the flavor of black pepper. So you want to get that down. And you notice I didn't flop it down. You just want to place it down gently, and you just want to press on it so all the parts are caramelizing. So natural product, what happens is you salt it, the sugar comes out of whatever you're searing. So that gives you that nice caramel color.
That nice crust.
Yeah, so if you don't salt or pepper something, then you're not going to have that. So
interesting. All right. So
just moving the oil around a little bit. To start out with the item that's going to cook the longest with the fish. So which is going to be our onion. And we want to just really get that in there, build that flavor up with that. And then we season that a little bit more too, a little salt, a little pepper on the onions.
And when we come back, we're going to be able to put the olives in and the rest of the ingredients. Exactly. So folks, stay tuned. Whoop. After the break, we'll be talking more with Chef Vachi. For sponsorship opportunities, please visit tasteofthevalley.tv. Welcome back to Taste of the Valley. We're cooking some great salmon here with Vachi from Yalla Yalla. So now that we have the onions and the salmon,
we're going to add our tomatoes. You can throw those caper berries in for me.
Great.
It's nice having a sous chef.
Seriously.
I give you a job at the restaurant. A little more onions there.
I expect some gratuity after this, by the way.
So we're going to throw our olives in.
All of them?
All of them.
Oh, nice.
I love olives, yeah.
You know what?
A little bit of lemon juice. Fresh lemon juice.
Fresh lemon juice.
We squeezed that this morning. All right, beautiful. Now, some white wine.
Any particular recommendation?
No, anything you have around the house. People say you should cook with something you drink, but if you drink a $100 bottle of wine, don't cook with it.
No kidding. I love it when people say that.
So now that we got going, you can get the aroma. It smells really nice, right? So we're going to pinch a little salt, a little pepper. And if you don't want to get this in the oven, get the oven hot, just cover it and let it go. So perfect. And earlier, we grilled some vegetables that you cut. So you can grill them or saute them. It's up to you. So we're going to put this together now. So
I'm liking the grill marks you have here.
And if you want to place some vegetables right there for me.
These. Now, where do you buy your produce and your supplies?
Farmers market. The Vineyard Farmers Market, Fresno and Shaw right there.
And I can vouch for this, folks.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I can vouch for this because I see them there every Saturday, it seems.
So it's great. I mean, they pick it that morning, so how much fresher can you get? And this little fresh rice, homemade rice.
Pilafy?
Yeah.
All right.
Now you're doing a good job there.
Seriously.
You got good plating skills here.
Seriously,
I'm calling you.
After city council, I'm going to Yalla Yalla.
Perfect. You got a job, buddy. So we've got going.
Oh,
doesn't that just look beautiful?
It does.
So we're just going to flip that really quick. So you see that nice caramel color? So that's going to go right next to it. And right here we got a little bit of butter. A little bit of butter that's going to go in there just to kind of bring the sauce together. That's about 5 minutes total time. So if you like it more, this will be about a medium on the fish. So if you like it cooked a little bit longer, about 8 minutes is what you want to go for. So
great. And the butter, of course, cuts some of the acid from the olives.
exactly.
It makes it a little bit more mild. But I mean, I'm a big fan of olives. In fact, I think I eat olives just about every day.
I do too.
That is a very colorful dish.
Very colorful, very healthy. You don't want to add the butter? You don't have to.
All right, I'm gonna have to use my finger. Is that okay?
Tastes better, right?
Very salty because the olives love it.
Right.
No doubt the fish. Wow, it's flaky.
It really, when you're searing it, when you hit that white wine and lemon juice, and it has really no place to go, but it just absorbs it into the fish. So the fish ends up with a lot more flavors. Now, salmon works great with this dish because the salmon can stand up to all these flavors. If you're doing a halibut or some sort of whitefish, you want to maybe mellower, keep out the caper berries and the olives, but you can still kind of use the sauce. But with a salmon, it just goes perfect.
So folks, if you want to get this dish, and of course many others like it, they can head over to Yalla Yalla.
Yalla Yalla.
Over off of Friant in Fort Washington.
Yeah, we're open Tuesday through Sunday, and Sunday we're open from 11:30 to 4:30, and during the week it's from 11:30 to 9 and 10 on a weekend. So.
And of course, folks can always go to Cracked Pepper off of Shaw was it Fresno?
Shaw and Fresno.
Shaw and Fresno.
And our 5 years coming up there too. So.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
Thanks for being on Taste the Valley.
Thank you,
folks. He is definitely a star in the Fresno culinary scene. So don't miss out. This episode of Taste of the Valley has been brought to you by Fresno Distributing.